Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Kayla Lords
John Brownstone.
of Loving BDSM back
Yeah.
for another 5 things you ought to know about a BDSM topic. Yes.
Yeah.
We are doing one near and dear to our hearts.
Yes.
Long distance DS relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So we recognize that not everybody goes through a long distance relationship, but that it is much more common now. BDSM online communities,
Yeah.
you tend to meet when you're on completely different continents sometimes.
Yeah.
And we started as a long distance couple.
18 months.
18 months, 440 miles. One state, though. We were
Yeah.
at least in the same
We were-
state.
yes.
2 time zones. And we found ways to make it work for us.
We did.
Everybody has to find their own path for that. And what it means to you.
Yeah.
But we do want to share some things, and that's just a few things that we think people need to know and remember and realize, especially if you're new to your long distance relationship and you're wondering.
I mean,
is this even an option?
there's some concrete fundamentals.
I think so.
Yeah.
This is not the end all be all
Nope.
of long distance BDSM and DS relationships. We will have plenty of links below for you to go check out some more information. And as of the time of recording, I am working on like a really, really comprehensive guide based on how we view long distance
Right.
relationships to really help people. It is not done yet. But if it ever gets done, I will update the description below so people can read that too. But we are working on that because we do feel so strongly about long distance relationships.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
All right. Number 1. Yes, it can work long term.
So there will be some naysayers out there who are going to say to you, "Oh, you can't make this work for a long time. This can't work forever." It can if that's what you want, as long as it works. The thing that is required of every relationship, but most especially in long distance, is good communication.
Yes.
If you cannot use this time apart to find ways to communicate and to build trust between you, no, it is not going to work long term. But we know plenty of people who have been long distance for a few years,
much longer than we were.
Right, who make it work for them for where their lives are right now. And it only works because they have found ways to communicate effectively and to maintain and build trust through honesty and integrity and just good relationship skills in general that no, you might not have when you get started, but if you're willing to work on them, you can have later.
Right. Number 2, sex and kink are possible.
Oh, yes. So
yeah.
people think that, oh, well, you're not physically together. You can't have sex. Has anybody ever heard of phone sex? And they think you can't get kinky. Power exchange does not require proximity. So if you're not interested in sex in your relationship, you don't have to have it. If you prefer to keep certain kinky things to when you can physically be with another person, that's fine. But if you need one or both of those things in any DS relationship you're in, it is possible long distance. You just have to get creative.
And Skype is another.
Oh, yeah. We never used Skype.
We never used it,
did
but
understand why we
I know.
didn't use it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people use Skype.
But
and
that's a good tool, too.
mutual masturbation,
Yep.
phone sex, sex toys, for the sex side of things.
I used to guide you through masturbating.
Yes, you used to give me instructions to go into the bathroom at work and like get it on with myself and send some pictures. Sexting is absolutely your friend during this moment if you want that side of your DS relationship. And not everybody does, and that's okay too.
True.
You can have the power exchange and the kinky stuff, even if you never do anything sexual, long distance as well, because it's about issuing orders or tasks or making up rules or whatever it is, and as the dominant or top, and then complying with that as the submissive. It requires trust. It requires honesty. You have to actually do the thing you said you were going to do. You, as a dominant, you may need to follow up more often than you might in person. We took a lot of pictures to show, oh, this is a thing that I have done and completed as you requested. Well, we did a lot of things online, like sharing documents where you could easily see had it been done.
Right.
But yes, you can have sex and
Google Docs
kink.
was our friend.
Oh, yes. Sex and kink absolutely have a place in long distance DS relationships.
Okay. Number 3, visits are really important.
So I know there are some people out there who do long distance and never lay eyes on the other person. They never visit. I think those people are outliers more than I don't think they're that common. And the vast majority of us need visits. You'll never get them as often as you want them, because that would be called probably like living at least in the same town with one another.
Yeah.
But they are important. And the trick we found to keep going in between visits is before one visit ended, whenever we could, it wasn't always possible, we would schedule the next one.
We would start planning the
So
next.
we had something to look forward to. Even if it was months in the future, we had an idea of the next time we would see each other, so we could, relive and revel in what we had just experienced together, and then help let the next visit carry us through in that space between. But, in order to have a more complete DS interaction, meaning where you can physically be in each other's presence and share that energy, visits are crucial. Like I said, some people don't care about that, some people don't want it, and that's okay. But if you feel like something is missing and that online is just not quite enough for you, it's the visits that are going to keep things going for you.
Yeah. Number 4, power exchange, which includes tasks, can be done.
So I mentioned this at the top with kink, but in this case, I meant, when I was making our little notes, people think that how can you tell somebody what to do when you're not there with them? Well, I'm a submissive who's not with John Brownstone every moment of the day, and he still can tell me what to do. So you don't have to be close to one another to exert power and authority over another person, or to give up and submit to another person. It is about doing what you said you would do, even if nobody's there to check up on you. So we would set rules, and we would set tasks, and I would do them, and he would follow through and check up and say, have you done it? But most of the time he didn't have to. I would report back in to go, hey, I did this thing. Or it would be a thing that was really self-evident and obvious, like send me a picture, or go do this thing, masturbate in the ladies' room at work. So we could have that routine that in-person DS relationships also have.
And even beyond that, I would, because you were fairly new to kink, I would assign you tasks of researching various kinks that you were curious about.
Right.
And basically writing a report on them.
Yeah, book reports. And it was Google Documents and Google Drive. That's what we use. It's not the only thing out there. And so then he could see what I had done. And so if you're going to have a long distance power exchange, you can't just throw out a list of things that the other person should do or that you're both going to do. You need the mechanism in place to make it as easy as possible and to make it verifiable whenever possible. Pictures are the easiest way, of course.
Yeah.
But sharing things online, I know there are apps out there that are like chore apps and to-do list apps that people can share. We have not used any of them, but we do know a few kinksters who have. If you come across something like that and it works for you, great. But the big thing is assign the tasks, set the routine, create the protocol, and then have a way to make it as easy as possible for both of you.
Some people use Trello.
Yep.
Or Evernote.
Yep. So use the technology available to give you a way to communicate with one another and to check up and make sure things are happening the way you both want them to happen. But yes, it can happen. It's just you're going to use technology to help you.
Correct. Number 5. How your relationship evolves is up to you.
So I used to have kind of an immature thought that all long-distance relationships are supposed to end up in person. All relationships of any kind are supposed to be whatever the hell you want them to be. That is how that's supposed to work. So if you want to keep it long distance for as long as it works for you, cool. Sometimes you don't want to, and it's just how life works out. Neither of you are in a position to move, or there's something going on in your life where you have to be where you are right now, and that's just a fact. And sometimes that sucks, and sometimes that's how you want it. Some people want it to stay mostly online with very few visits. As long as both of you agree to that, cool. One of you can't just be deciding that for both of you, though. You do need to communicate. You do need to both be on board with the idea of not doing visits or whatever. And don't be surprised if there comes a point where one of you wants something that the other one doesn't. That does happen. We get to different points in our lives and in our relationships, and then that's time for a hard conversation. But however this relationship evolves, even if it just evolves into we kind of liked each other at the beginning and now we really like each other, and it's not like you get married or move in together like we ended up doing, there's no right answer here.
No.
It's what works for both of you. You don't have to apologize if you keep a long distance relationship for a decade, because that's what works for you. That's what matters most. As long as you're both healthy and happy with one another. And when I say healthy, I mean healthy in your relationship with each other. It's a healthy relationship, and you're communicating and you're maintaining trust and you're both getting what you need out of it, then that's all that matters.
Yeah.
There is so much more we could say about long distance relationships.
Absolutely.
And we've talked about it in multiple podcast episodes. We've done blog posts on it. Like I said at the top, I'm trying to write like a really big, long piece of content about it. So if you are new to long distance relationships, or if you're sort of dealing with one now and you're kind of struggling, check the links below for all the other ways we've talked about it before. And hopefully that will help you have whatever kind of long distance relationship you want to have. And if you like what you just saw here and want to help us do more of it, please become a patron of ours on Patreon. Link below, or go to patreon.com/Kayla Lords. You do have to use the direct link or you'll never find us. But you can join for as low as $1 a month, and you get early releases of these videos, plus you get other content that you won't get anywhere else.